You know, you ask somebody their history, you ask somebody what they've been going through, you ask somebody, how long a relationship lasted and what broke the relationship down. Sometimes people will tell you betrayal. And see, a lot of people, they think that they're just hurt by it. They psychologically feel like they're damaged. But the truth is, betrayal, it actually changes you. It changes you. There's a character in you that you don't know about. There's something in you that you don't know about until things like betrayal happen. Now, you can use the betrayal in so many different categories, whether it's a job, whether it's a best friend, whether it's your spouse, whether it's your girlfriend, your boyfriend. You can use the same principle because it's the same devil. It's the same spirit. It's the same thing. Betrayal is, once you learn that logic, then, you'll kind of be happy with life because you understand it now. But yeah, so that's what we're talking about tonight. So as you're coming in, I want to know where you're coming from. Good evening, Sunflower. Somebody says, what about someone who fills your ear with everything you want to hear to be intimate and ghost you? Well, there was a person who deceived you. They was a person who came in only to get what they wanted. And once they got it, you didn't really mean anything. And that's why I always say, before you give things up, you should set a standard and you stand on your standard. You understand what I'm saying? And a lot of times it's hard to stay on a standard if you are full of lust yourself, if you are weak. And see, that comes with a little discipline. See, a person that has something very valuable, they create and they have what you call discipline. If something is so valuable, right? And to you, you're going to put it up on the lock and key, right? This is what I tell people. Like, literally, if you got something that's valuable, you're going to lock it down. And you're not going to let nobody get close to what's valuable unless you really trust this person. So if somebody came and they deceived you and they lied about who they are, sometimes, that was a life lesson for you not to just trust people. That was a life lesson for you. You gave something away that you didn't want to give away and they ghosted you. That was a life lesson. But yeah, so tonight we are talking about some things tonight, and I am really happy to have this discussion tonight. For those of you that are coming in, I want you to share this live. This is our therapy session that we do every Monday through Friday. I came in a little earlier tonight. I tried to get on here before 8:30 actually. But tonight we are talking about betrayal doesn't just hurt you. It changes you. And I want to talk about the different levels of it, because there's things that you have to understand and that you have to know in order to get to the next level, whether you man or woman. Betrayal is serious. I want to tell you that, when somebody betray you that's really close to you, you're not the same after that. You don't trust the same after that. You're not the same. And tonight, I want to talk about what betrayal have turned you into. That's what I want to talk about tonight. What did betrayal turn you into? What did it make you? See, we have a lot of misconceptions, and we have people who think that they're doing good, and they think that they have goodness in them, and they think that they're doing righteous or that they're on a good path, but betrayal didn't really turn them into anything good. So tonight, by the end of this live, you're going to understand what betrayal have turned you into. And I think this is very, very powerful. Something for you to really get keyed in with, tuned in with. So grab your popcorn, grab your popcorn, grab your tea. This is going to be real interesting tonight. Again, what we're talking about tonight, as you're coming in, I want you to share this. And we are talking about tonight, once again, betrayal doesn't just hurt you. It doesn't. It don't just hurt you. It changes you. And I want to simply expose what it have changed you into. Yeah, I want to expose it. I want to expose it tonight in this therapy session. And that's what we do. We expose. We talk about it. We be honest. I'm not ashamed to be honest. And that's how you have to have in your mind. You can't be ashamed to be honest with yourself. The first thing that I would like to go into is the change. How betrayal actually changes you. See, after betrayal, people don't just protect their peace. No, they protect themselves from ever feeling like that again. See, this thing is deep. You be like, I'm just protecting my peace. No. When you begin to really change, you trying to protect yourself because you don't never want to feel that disrespected again, because that hurts. Because that took something out of you. When I think about this, if you was really impacted by betrayal, it took something out of you. And you know just as well as I know, when you take anything out of something, it creates something else. So then you begin to move different. This is a part of the change. You begin to analyze things different. Now, you are the type of person who feel like everybody might have an angle on you. And this is because pain made you feel like being open was dangerous. This thing is deep. It's a lot deeper than you think. And that's why I wanted to talk about this tonight, because we don't understand the ramifications or the things that happen to us psychologically when we are betrayed. It's like a different you appear. And I tell people, I say, what type of change do you want? What type of change will be a good change? We have some people, they change into things that they never thought they would become. And we're going to talk about that tonight because this is very interesting. Literally, I think that when you begin to hear these layers and you begin to hear these things, you are going to be disrupted a little bit. See, pain, again, we're talking about tonight as you're coming on. I want you to share this live because this is a therapy session and it may help somebody. See, I like to be in a world that we are literally helping people instead of destroying people. See, there's people right now that are online that may not talk about anything that can heal people. We need to heal the world. We need good messages. We need good people that can be able to facilitate the truth. That's why I love when we get comments, because somebody is reading your good comment. Somebody is saying, dang, I feel the same way. But yeah, so tonight, that's what we're talking about tonight, how betrayal doesn't just hurt you. It changes you. It changes the way you think. It changes the way you respond. It changes the way you trust. It changes the way you connect with people. And then most people, they believe like I went through something, but it's deeper than that. The truth is something went through you. You ever heard somebody say, I just crazy relationship, I'm going through something. No, it's deeper than that. See, something is going through you. And that something that we're talking about is change, because what's happening in your life right now is you're starting to be rewired. There's some frequencies, there's some parts of your brain that is being rewired because of the pain. And you're starting to change. You're starting to change. Because after pain, you you don't react the same. Your reactions, it changes. Things that once felt small, they feel threatening now. See, when you really been through a real betrayal, you get defensive faster. You shut down quicker. You overthink simple situations. You assume the worst sooner. And it's not because you're dramatic. It's because your brain is being rewired. Your brain have learned a few things. And this kind of situation hurt me before. And that's how you feel. So now you start to treat similarities. You start to treat it like it's danger. I just told you that betrayal have changed something in you. It also have changed the way you trust. Now your trust changes. See, before the pain, trust was given. You would easily give your trust. You would be like, yo, I trust this and I trust that. But after the pain, boy, that trust is evaluated. Now you you watching behavior more closely now. You questioning everybody's intention. You wait longer to believe someone. You test their consistency before opening up. See, you're no longer freely trusting, you're scanning. All because you're changing. It wasn't just pain, you're changing. You changing so much that your boundaries are even changing. And this is something that, you must know. Because before the pain, you used to let things slide. You didn't pay attention. Before the pain, the real pain, you gave too many chances. Before the pain, you avoided conflict. Before the pain, you stayed silent to keep the peace. Are you listening to what I'm saying? Because I think that you should understand the psychology of what a betrayal have really done to you. And then people be like, you used to be so meek and you used to be so humble and you used to be so nice. Now you're not silent no more. Now you're talking more. Well, betrayal changed me. You see, this stuff, it lines up because after pain, you speak up faster. Before the pain, you wasn't speaking up. But after the pain, you pulling away sooner. After the pain, you say no. You say no a lot. You be like, no. I got to protect my energy in my time. That's what you think after the pain. And see, quite often, sometimes this can feel harsh. But it's really protection. It's often protection. Because now your emotion and the way that you give your emotions freely, you're not available no more emotionally. Because pain really teaches you to have a sense of caution. So now it's like, before you was hurt, now it's like you share less. When pain, after the pain, before the hurt, you used to share a lot. But after the pain, you start to share less. Again, you start to open up slowly. It's like, man, look, I got to keep things surface level. And see, this wasn't you. You used to be emotionally available for people. But now after the pain, you avoid deep emotional investment. And it's not because you don't care. So sometimes that's what people like to paint it. Oh, you just don't care now. No, it's not because I don't care. It's because when I was vulnerable with you, or when I was vulnerable with them, or when I was in my most vulnerable place in my life, it led me to harm. Betrayal is a different type of pain, yo. And it's one of the things that we talk about. It's one of the things that a lot of people are hurting right now. And the more you know about it, the more you can help somebody about it. Pain literally it changes your nervous system. Because after that emotional trauma, this stuff is biological. Like your system stay on high alert. You be feeling anxious and you always expect problems, even when there's no reason to have a problem. You struggle to relax around real love. Like this is some things that happens when you've been betrayed. It changes you. Things feel uneasy now. And again, it's because your body have learned. Your body have learned. I'm telling you right now, there's some changes that you need to pay attention to. Because when I get to the end of this, it's going to all make sense. It's going to all make sense. When betrayal happens, another thing that happens is your expectations change. Before the pain, you expected somebody to be honest with you. After the pain, you expect people to tell lies every now and then. Before the pain, you expected to have real support in your life. And after the pain, you start to realize that I need to leave a little gap in my belief system just in case somebody withdraw on me. So you begin to, again, prepare for all of the emotional disappointments. Even when nothing have happened, all because of betrayal. Another thing that's so crazy is, and I'm talking about things that change in you before I get to the next level tonight. We're discussing what changes in you. See, again, those of you that's just now coming in, we are having a discussion about betrayal. It wasn't just painful. Because some people get the misconception that I just went through something. Or, no, you didn't just go through something. Something went through you. Something changed in you. And you need to identify what changed in you. This has a big thing to do with your character. Another thing that changes in you is the way you communicate. Now you asking more questions now. You gonna say less about how you feel. You're gonna hold things in. You're gonna avoid expressing needs. Something changed. Because before you was a different type of person. But before you was betrayed, or when you was betrayed, you realized that when I used to do all those things, it just led me down a path of rejection. It just caused a lot of conflict. It got dismissed. Nobody took my communication serious. So now you shut down and you feel like now silence is safer. And see, this is a point that changes in some men when they go through betrayal. They feel like silence is safer, but it's not. You got to be able to voice what you need to voice. I don't think silence is safer for a lot of people. But when you go through traumatic experiences, you don't really have anybody to talk to. You don't have anybody that can really hear you. And then ultimately, guess what happens? Your identity changes. And this is the most important part. This is the part that you have to open your ears up and you have to really listen, because now we're talking about your identity. We're talking about who you are. See, pain, it changed how you see yourself. You used to see yourself in a different light, but now you see yourself differently now. See, pain, this betrayal, it changed your identity so much that now you see other people differently now. You judge everybody different now. Before the betrayal, you didn't do that. You didn't do that. Before the betrayal, you used to see yourself differently. It changes your identity. It changes the way that you see relationships. Now, when you see people happy online and happy-go-lucky, now in the back of your mind, you be like, man, I don't even know about that relationship. They do a little bit too much partying for me. Somebody got to be unfaithful. Have anybody ever thought like that? If you ever thought like that, I want you to drop a 100. You got hurt. And when you got betrayed by somebody that was the closest person to you, now you see things differently. And now when you look at people's relationships, you be like, no, their relationship ain't what it is. Somebody doing something. That's part of your identity changing. Then another thing that you go through, right, is you change the way that you see love. Now, I don't know about you. But I can say that most people that ever been in a betrayed relationship or a betrayed environment, they see love different. And sometimes that identity change, it matters. It matters. Some people don't even believe in love no more. And that's why I tell people, give me loyalty. Keep the love. This is what pain changes. And before we get to the rest of what we're talking about tonight, these are some of the things you have to understand. Your identity changing. So now you believe that people leaving now. You believe that love changes now. You believe that I can't rely on anyone. How many people have had that thought? If you had that thought after being betrayed, that I can't rely on nobody, drop a 100 in the comments. I just want to know. I'm curious. I want to know, because that's like a human trait. Like when you think about this is like a human trait. And those of you that are just now coming in, what I want you to do is I want you to share this live, because this is a therapy session. I want you to give me some likes. And we are talking about tonight that betrayal didn't just cause you pain. It literally changed you. So I think you're in for a treat, because by the end of this, you're going to learn some things about yourself that you did not know. But yeah, so this is what happens. Your identity change. Now you like, I can't rely on nobody no more. I see a whole bunch of 100s here. I see a whole bunch of 100s, because I don't think that people who have never been betrayed will understand. But everybody that have been betrayed at some level in their life, whether it was by a parent, family member, relationship, you always say, man, I can't rely on nobody no more. Your identity is like, now I see why God said in the word, don't trust people. Trust nobody. Put all your trust on God, because right now, it's like the person that I thought that was in that flesh would never do this to me. And the thing One of the most important things that changes in our identity is I have to protect myself. That's what changes in you. Now it's like I have to protect myself now. You was careless at first. In that type of behavior, in these type of changes, these type of beliefs, it start guarding your behavior. Start guiding, not guarding. It could be both. It start literally guiding how you deal with people, guiding how you deal with yourself, guiding how you view life now. And what most people don't realize is that the change often happens quickly. You don't just decide. You just be like, I gotta protect myself. Your system decide for you. It's not like you had a choice. It's like your system, your nervous system, your mind, your brain saying, look, I gotta be more protective. I gotta be more careful. You be like, man, in your mind, you be like, I gotta survive differently now. I can't trust nobody. And I want to just tell you some, real life signs of this change that I'm telling you about. You hesitate where you once leaned in. You hesitate now. This is how you know that there was a real life change in you. You hesitate. You question where you once trusted. Now, I know everybody question when you go through a betrayal. You go through a season of it. Sometimes you go through a lifelong of it. Sometimes you go through years of questioning things. You pull back where you once pursued. See, you changing. These are real life changes. You're different. You prepare where you once hoped. You're still you. But your safety strategy done changed. And that's why you should know that pain didn't just break your heart. It taught your mind how to protect it. Did you just hear what I just said? That thing taught your mind how to protect it. You are a special person. You are a strong vessel. There's so much in your life and so much things that you have to accomplish. And the enemy does everything he can do to break you. This is some powerful stuff. And I hope that you are, literally paying attention. Betrayal is not a fun thing to really talk about. It's not something that you just wake up in the morning and this is something sometimes you have to discuss with yourself because you don't really, this is some real life. This is some real life stuff. What do you think? How did, before we move along, how did it change you? I want you to just put it in the comments. How did betrayal change you? See, that pain, it wasn't just painful. How did it affect you? I want to know. We want to know. This somebody says that pain, it changed them and it turned them into a powerful person. I like that. Somebody says quiet and more observant now. Somebody says confused. See, you're not the only one. Taught me that I need to love myself more. It made me cold heart person. Ooh, wait. So it changed you, and that's what it does. That's what it does. I'm just being real. It changed you. You probably thought you would never be cold. See, this is what somebody else said. Somebody says, I learned how to numb myself from the things I used to care about so much. Ooh. This is some powerful stuff we're talking about tonight. Somebody's going to get set free. I believe it. Somebody's going to get set free. Somebody is going to get to the next level. And that's what we want. That's the reason of this. That's the reason of this call. Somebody is going to literally get to the next level in their life because they understand that the betrayal really changed them. It literally made them a better person. It really made them more observant. It really changed them. And I'm talking about just some small changes now. That's what I'm talking about right now. The next thing, now that somebody mentioned this and somebody says very cautious, overly observant now. I don't want to be cold-hearted, but betrayal really hurts. Taught me not to hide behind the hurt. Levels says taught me, Patricia says, taught me how to love the one that I know that loves me. Absolutely. We're talking about betrayal tonight. Somebody asked that question. That is what we're talking about tonight. We're talking about the psychology of it though. We're talking about that it wasn't just a pain, but it actually changed you. And the second thing that I want to talk about tonight, because when I read through these comments and I see what everybody is saying, it just makes me want to go here. It changed you into a protection versus personality. It's like that is kind of like what's going on. You don't know if it's your personality. You don't know if you're just protecting yourself. And sometimes you will tell yourself that you're healing, but you're actually just becoming more guarded. Because what you do and what you're doing, it feels like protection. So now you think you're right. You think not trusting anyone is wisdom. You think cutting people off faster is growth. You think shutting down is maturity. Then survival mode, it literally start to feel like self-respect. But just because something feels safe doesn't mean it's healthy. Sometimes protection starts to replace your personality, and you don't even realize it. So we got to definitely talk about this personality versus protection. A lot of people, you change and you pick up these different traits and you don't even understand what's going on with you. You're like, man, I can't believe that I'm doing this. You think that your personality, you think that it's changing, but really it could be that you're just in a level of protection in your life right now. And it's not even who you are. It's who you had to become to survive. I want to tell you that protection, it develops after pain. See, nobody is born emotionally unavailable. That's not how we're born. Nobody is born hyper independent. Nobody is born distrustful. Nobody is born trying to avoid everybody. Nobody, and I mean nobody, is born detached. See, these are all learned responses. You just hear what I just said. These had to get learned from somewhere. After someone experiences betrayal, or abandonment, rejection, being lied to, being replaced, your system start to say, I need to adapt so this doesn't happen again. So that's when the protection, that's when it steps in. That protection, it develops after pain. And let me tell you what protection does. It start acting like it's your personality. It's who you are. See, at first, it's temporarily. It's something that's temporary. And then you will tell yourself, I'm just going to be careful. But over time, it becomes, this is just who I am. Do you catch what I'm saying right now? There's people right now says, I don't get attached. This is who they say they is now. I like being alone. Nobody wants, there's not a lot of people that want to live in this world that want to be alone. No. Your personality, you think that's your personality, but it's really just a protection mechanism that's going on. That's not who you are. You say that's just who you is, but that's really not the truth. I don't get attached. So when I hear this, when people say I don't get attached, I be like, nah, that just told me somebody broke your heart. That just told me, because nobody is born detached. You name somebody that you know that might have been born. Nobody is born detached. They had to go through something. They had to go through something. Rejection, abandonment, betrayal, lied to, replaced. They had to go through something to say something like that. So when people say that psychologically, I already know that they went through something. So now they saying that this is just who I am. I don't get attached. I like being alone. Some people spend years in protection. Some people spend their life just trying to protect it. People also say, I don't trust people. That's another thing they say. I don't trust people. I don't open up to anybody. I'm not affectionate. That might not even be their personality. Most of the time it's not. That's the protection mechanism that never got turned off. See, you didn't know that about yourself, did you? You thought in your mind, when you say these things, you feel weird. And you say some of this stuff, you feel weird. It's like, I don't want to say this. I don't want to say I like being alone. Who wants to say they like being alone? People don't want to just say they like being alone. People don't like to just say, I'm not affectionate. I don't want to be affectionate. I don't want to love nothing. I don't want to be attached to nothing. That's just not a normal response to a happy person, to a person who love, who's full of God and want to do things. Personality is natural. You got to know that. Personality is natural. Protection is reactive. You understand what I'm saying? Personality is natural. Protection is reactive. See, personality comes from values and interests, different preferences, having the right temperament. And protection, Protection comes from hurt, fear, survival, emotional memory. You got to understand that personality says, I enjoy my space. But protection, it says, I don't feel safe depending on anyone. Personality says, I like independence. Protection says, I learned that needing people leads me to pain. And these are the things psychologically, like when you understand it, like when you get it. See, a lot of you that's listening to me right now, you on this frequency now. And you like, man, I'm starting to learn stuff about myself I didn't know. I'm starting to learn that that's really the protection that's talking. That's really the change that happened from that's talking, but that's really not my personality. That's really not what God made me to be. There's women out here who are looking for love in the wrong places. And they think a way that they should be doing things is right, but it's wrong, but it's just a level of protection. Never let a man get close to me. Run through any man I want to. Use all their money. Do this and do all of this. All of the stuff you hear in the music, that becomes your protection. But that's really not your personality. That's really not who you are. You just became these things because you think you're protecting yourself, so you think you're right. Men, we do the same stuff. We're like, yeah, boy. Nah, I'd rather it's so many ignorant men that I be hearing having these conversations about how they want children, but they never want to really father them. They don't want to take care of them. They say they want to do this and they want to do that, but a lot of them have been hurt. A lot of hurt men, they've been hurt. So they think not trusting and not really letting somebody love them and not doing this and not doing that. They say, I don't want no woman to love me. I don't want no woman to do this. I'm good on that, bro. I'm good. Yeah, you saying that because that's really a protection mechanism. Most of the time, it's really not your personality. Most of the time, you will want to be attached to somebody. Most of the time, you will want a woman that's going to love you right and help you. Because I don't care who you are. You can't be a real strong king without a queen, big dog. That's the way that God made it. We have to have a helpmate. I mean, unless you're going to be a eunuch, unless you're going to be single, you don't want to, we have to be realistic. We're talking about building a legacy and building strong children and building a strong line behind you, right? You're going to need a strong woman. But see, protection, it limits your connections. And I would tell her, you're letting this protection limit your connections. You're letting it, you're letting your personality not connect. Because protection is going to lead you to start avoiding all risk. And that's when people be like, I'm so private. But what they really mean when they say that, I don't feel safe being seen. Did you just hear what I just said? How many people do you know that just says, I'm just so private? I'm just so private. I'm just private, Sometimes, I'm not saying all the time, but I'm just being honest. Sometimes protection says we got to avoid all risk. I don't want nobody to see me happy. I don't want nobody to see me doing well. I don't want nobody to see this. I'm just private. I don't want nobody to see. Most of the time, that's a protection mechanism. Like, I don't want to just be seen. Some people be saying like, I don't like physical touch. You ever heard somebody say that before? I don't really like, I don't do hugs. I don't do hugs. I don't shake hands, none of that. I just, you know. But a lot of times what they're really saying is that closeness makes them anxious. See, protection looks like preference, but it's actually a defense. I hope I'm getting somewhere. Oh, we're good on time. We got about 30 more minutes and we'll be done. See, protection, it literally becomes your identity. I'm just telling you, for those of you that are just now coming in, we are talking about that betrayal didn't just break you in a painful way. It wasn't just pain. That's what we're talking about tonight. Betrayal changed you. And you need to know how it changed you. You need to know these things so that you can get to the next level, so you can have a full understanding of what's going on with you. Why you can't find your footing. So right now we're talking about personality versus protection. See, protection, it sometimes it becomes your identity after a while. It does. After a while, you forget why you even act the way you act. You be like, I just became this way. Then you start believing that I've always been this way. No, you haven't. You wasn't like this your whole life. You wasn't like this your whole life. Distance feel natural to you now. You wasn't like this your whole life. You didn't just want to be away from everybody. Always having your guard up all the time. It literally feels normal to you. Independence feel like strength. That's why I don't really like all of that, all of that talk, all of that independence talk sometimes. Sometimes it can come off the wrong way. It can come off the wrong way. I just want to encourage you that are trying to date and meet people. Don't come off to people talking about independence. I don't need this and I don't need that. If you don't need, why are you dating? If you don't need, why the heck are you on the phone wasting time? You don't need. Next, bro, if you ever have a woman that says she don't need nothing from nobody, that's a red flag. And it should tell you that she's been so hurt where she feels like independence is strength. Even if it came from that pain. Protection, sometimes it can become her identity. So, bro, don't ever tell a woman you don't need her. You on a date with somebody, you talking about I don't need nobody in my life. I can get this all by myself. I can do this. No woman wants to be with a man that she can't help. So you got to quit saying what you don't need. Do you know how goofy you sound? I don't need, but you on a date. You need something, big dog. What you trying to do? You out there spending money to go on a date for what? You need something, big player. You need something. You need something. Somebody lying somewhere. You need something. But protection make you feel like independence is strength. Like, I don't need nothing. I don't need no woman for this. I don't need no woman for that. I can be alone. I don't need no woman to live with me. I don't need no, this is what happened after men get hurt. Men be 50 and 60 years old, single, because they still hurt from their first marriage. Or they still hurt from their first real relationship. They grow up their whole life and protection have became their identity. Man, if you are listening to me, the best advice I could tell you is that you would say, God, give me my identity. I don't want my identity to be birthed from, pain, or I don't want my identity to change to out of my purpose of what you call me to be. Unless I'm going to give, you know, relationships up and just become a person that's single for the rest of their life. Like, you know, they're eunuchs, you know, they just want to just be close to God. Now that is understandable. You made a great sacrifice, but the majority of us that's on this call, we don't think like that. And another thing that protection does is it can be mistaken for growth. People be like, I've matured. But sometimes what they mean is I've become less open. Growth says I have boundaries but can still connect. Protection says I don't let anyone in at all. Growth is balanced. Protection is defensive. And I know many of you probably be saying, like, why does this even matter? Because you can't heal something that you think is your personality. You can't heal that. I don't care how you try it. If somebody believes that this is just who I am, if somebody's believing this, right? This is just who I am. They may never question why they struggle with intimacy. They may never question why they shut down emotionally. They may never question why they pull away when things get serious. They're not broken. They're just protected. I'm just sharing a bit of information with you so you can understand yourself. So you can stop saying this is just who I am. Can't heal saying that all the time. Especially when you're thinking something is your personality, but it's really not. You be the same person, never questioning anything. You're never questioning your intimacy. You never question things emotionally. You never question why it's okay for you just to shut down. That's not good for the new relationship. Let's move along from this. I want to start to close, and I want to start to go to what I want to finish this tonight. I know we're about to get ready to hit an hour right now. And but again, those of you that are joining, we're talking about how betrayal didn't just, it didn't just cause pain in your life and heartbreak, and it really changed you. And that's what we're talking about tonight. We're talking about how it changed you. It changed you. It changed you. We talked about how it changes you. We talked about your personality versus your, protection. And sometimes you think that that's your personality, but you're in protection mode. You tell yourself all this stuff because you ain't really healed yet. One of the things that, and I won't be on this part very long, but betrayal really puts you in a survival mode. It really puts you in a real deal survival mode to where patience, it feels risky, and softness, it feels like a liability. It's why a lot of men don't give their heart away. Them brothers be scared to give their heart away. They in survival mode because the last relationship almost took them out. We have a lot of women. It's the same thing. Like, she's afraid now. She's literally afraid. She's in survival mode. So every relationship she get into, she go into that mug in the survival mode because who she used to be, she changed into this new person now. So the patience, everything is risky. And all kindness, it feels unsafe. And then that softness, it just begins to start feeling like a liability. And guess what happens? Guess what happens? Survival mode becomes the new normal. You've changed to a person that, you know, you're just surviving now. I got a question that I want to ask you, and I want you to be honest with me, and also the new ones that are just now getting in here. I want you to speak on that. I want you to speak on that survival mode. I want you to speak on how it changed you. I also want you to speak on how kindness feels unsafe. Think about a time in your mind. I want you to come in it. I want you to think about a time that kindness, if it feels risky. Having patience, it feels risky. Waiting, it feels risky. I want you to be honest with yourself. In did survival mode become your new normal? Did it become your new normal? I really want you to think about this. Now, I got a question too. Has betrayal ever changed how you move with people? If so, I want you to type changed. Has betrayal ever changed how you move with people? Ooh, we got a lot of changed. We got a lot of change that's in here tonight. I want to tell you something, and I want you to hear me really good. Healing is not pretending that it didn't hurt. Man, that mess hurt. It hurts. I'm talking to you. Healing is not pretending that it didn't hurt. You got to let yourself cry. You can't pretend like it didn't happen. You got to accept it. Because healing is not pretending that it didn't hurt. Healing is, I would say, it's refusing to let it turn you into someone you was not meant to be. That's real healing. So if you hurting, don't go out here and give your value away because you're hurting. Don't do that. That's not healing. You think healing is just catching bodies. That's not healing. You think healing is just going through life detached from everybody, being distant from everybody. So quit pretending. I want you to do me a favor and quit pretending that it didn't hurt. Some of you, you may be crying right now because you feel the pain. You feel the embarrassment. You've been embarrassed before. You've been embarrassed in front of all people. I'm going to say something that's really going to get to you. And this is serious right now. This is very, very serious. You can't protect your peace without losing who you are. Nope. Can't do it. I'm not talking about, you exposing anybody. I'm not talking about, that you're not defending yourself. I'm not talking about any of those things. You can't protect your peace without losing who you are. I think this is a big thing. This is a big topic. This is something that we have to understand and we have to put in our mind. Like you just can't protect your peace. You can't do it. But I think the biggest one of all is knowing that healing is not a person changing into something that God didn't create you to be. Now, when you're healing and God make you a real powerful person and you're moving after his heart, you're moving after the things that he designed you to do. You're moving after more secured value. You're moving in a way that is not a negative way. That's godlike. That is real positive healing. But when you moving in a way that's roguish, when you moving in a way that's hatred because you heard it on the songs, you might have seen it in some movies, you want to get back. See, men get back is different from women get back. I'm serious. We could talk about the negative and the positive. But I don't care what way you get back. If it's a negative way, that's not no healing. That's not. And sometimes that ego can feel like that's a protection. Now I feel like I can do this and I can do this and I can do that and I can do that. Yeah. Look at me now. Look at me now. That ain't real healing. You still toe up on the inside. You still broken. This man went out there and cheated on you. You went out there and tried to get back. And how do you feel right now? It didn't change nothing, did it? It didn't heal you right. You still dealing with that pain. You still dealing with the frustration. You still hurt. You changed for a while to something that you was never meant to be. You was never meant to be a woman that has no value. If I had to tell my daughter going through a betrayal, I would tell her, hey, respect yourself, know your worth. I would look her in her eyes and I would say, look, don't get wild. Get wiser. Get smarter. Stand up on your 2 feet. Daddy didn't raise you like this. Daddy didn't raise you to go out here and get toe up and because you're hurting. Daddy told you not to pretend that it don't hurt. Let's go through this hurt together if I got to. You're going to have to probably lose who you are. You're going to have to change in some capacity. I want to give you 3 things that you can do if betrayal changed you. I want to give you 3 things tonight. And that's how we're going to close this thing down. If you are in, give me some likes. I definitely want some likes on here. It definitely helps us to reach more people. That's what we do. If you've been blessed by this, again, thanks to people who've been giving. I appreciate everybody. It looks like Minnie is at the top. Jasmine, Having, I appreciate you. Everybody that's been pouring into me as I pour into you. This is a therapy session where you can come on here and you could literally, you can get something that you didn't have before you got here. Where is my book bag? All right. You can get some things that hold on one second. I gotta take this. I gotta put this back on now. All right, I'm back. So I want to give you three things today, that you can do. I also wanted to share with you my book. I thought it was next to me. It's 21 Days to Reset. It's on my website. You can go to markleejr.com and you can get it. And I'll personally sign it for you. I also have some training on there called Reset After Betrayal, what to do. But right now, I want to give you three things that you can do if betrayal changed you. If it literally turns you into somebody else. If betrayal changed how you move with people. These three things are going to help you. All right. So, the first thing I would tell you is start questioning your reactions. If you're taking notes, some of you may take notes. I know a lot of people, they take this very serious. They take a moment to really talk about their feelings and to talk about things that they're going in their life. They take it serious. And I would tell you to do the exact same thing. Take it serious. Number one, start questioning your reactions. Ask yourself, am I reacting to what's happening now? Or am I reacting to what happened before? Ask yourself that question. I want you to do it right now. Am I reacting to what's happening now, or am I reacting to what happened before? I want you to realize that sometimes you're not responding to the person in front of you. You're responding to the pain behind you. So start questioning. Start asking yourself the question, why am I reacting this way? Why am I acting like this? Number two, I want you to separate boundaries from bitterness. Separate boundaries from bitterness. See, boundaries say, I deserve peace. That's what boundaries say. I deserve peace. Bitterness says, nobody deserves access. Did you just hear what I just said? I'm going to tell you one more time. The second thing, I want you to separate your boundaries from bitterness. Boundaries say, I deserve more. I deserve peace. Bitterness says that nobody deserves access. See, you can create distance without shutting down emotionally. You understand what I'm saying? The third thing I would say is, don't let survival mode become your identity. Don't do it. Don't let that become your identity. You were never meant to live your entire life in defense mode. I don't care who you are. You was never meant to live your entire life in defense mode. You can protect your peace without becoming a cold person in the process. That cold stuff, that's not who you are. That cold energy you give off, that's not who you are. That's you trying to protect yourself from hurt. Brothers out here talking about, I'll never love again. Now, that's just your protection identity right now. You in survival mode. The last relationship almost took you out. You know, men can't handle that same kind of hurt. So when a man go through real betrayal, man, he loses it. He loses it. Some men never come back. They messed up for the rest of their life. They views on love, they views on marriage, they views on women, they views on the world, everything is just all screwed in their life. And they so alpha, they in a bad place. They didn't go no therapy, they didn't get no help. And so they just want to live their whole life cold. Man, ain't nobody trying to live in this world cold. You shouldn't be wanting to live cold. I want to tell you these 3 steps, man. You know, that's real therapy. That's real tools. It's for real. There's real weapons you can use against your mind, man. This is a mental battle that you're in. This is not a game. This is serious. These tools I've just given you, I want you to use them. I want you to put them in motion. Start asking hard questions. Start talking to yourself. Like, why am I acting like this? Why am I reacting like this? How long am I going to allow myself to not be myself? You know how much I hear that? I hear that so much. Like, people say, I'm not myself right now. I used to listen to a song from Lil Boosie called, I can't remember the name of the song. He'd be like, I'm not myself right now. I'm not myself. I would listen to that song, boy, when I'm angry and I'm upset because I ain't want to be myself. I used to listen to that song just like a lot of you do when you get heated, especially, you know, I don't know too many people who's run into anything that's good when they upset from betrayal at that. But I'm talking about more of a healing. You know, we got to stop pretending that stuff don't hurt. I don't care how fine you is as a woman. I don't care what you brought to the table. I don't care. Nobody cares. You can't live your life pretending like it didn't hurt. You can't heal that way. That's not how you do it. You have to go through that hurt. You have to accept that hurt for what it is. You have to just be like, yo, it is what it is. Like, you know, I got to deal with it. I got to cry sometimes. I've learned that holding it in too much, it'll change you too. I've learned that if you hold it in so much, it'll make you explode. It'll make you explode on your children. It'll make you explode on people. It'll make you explode when you're triggered because you keep holding stuff in. Stop pretending like it didn't happen. It happened. Stop pretending like, you know, like you good. You're not good. Some of the most bitter women in the world, they think that that's strength and power, but they still haven't been healed yet because they're bitter. Men, the same thing. You still bitter. That's why you don't want to pay child support. You bitter. There's no more arguing going on. There's no more fighting. There's no more nothing. You guys are separated. Everybody's living in life. But you can't come together for the kids because somebody still needs to be healed. That's why I'd be like, Lord, heal. If I'm going through betrayal, if anybody is going through betrayal, the best prayer you can be like is, God, heal me, because I don't want to become something that you didn't create me to be. I don't want to become something that you didn't call me to be. You called me to be fruitful. You called me to multiply. You called me to be a help. You called me to be a force in this world. You called me to be the salt of the earth. You didn't call me to be cold and to be distant and to hate people and to, you didn't call me for that. You didn't call me, that's not what you called me for. And that's what betrayal does. It changes your identity. God didn't call you to go around here getting bodies. He didn't call you to go around here seeing how much money you can get from people, seeing how you can be mischievous and seeing how you can be roguish. And people become so many different things is ridiculous. And they be like, that's just the way I am. That ain't the way you is. That's who you accepting yourself to be because you've been hurt. And now you became a different person. That's not what God made you to be. So, I'm done tonight. I hope that you have enjoyed this therapy session. And as I begin to close, I do thank you guys for the likes. They really do help me to reach more people in the world. It helped me to be seen. I actually appreciate this platform that God have blessed me with to be able to pour into you and to be able to pour into men who are suffering and women who are suffering out here, with their own self. You're suffering in your mind. You don't know. And I think that every call that we have, it is special. And so I really like to read when people, if you enjoyed this, let me know you enjoyed it. If you didn't like it, I want to know. If you have something that you disagreed, I want to know about that. Inbox me. If you have something that you want me to talk about on another live, I want you to inbox me so that I can notate it. I still have a lot of people to get to. If it's something that's on your mind and you want some answers to it, I guarantee you somebody that is in need of therapy is wanting the same things. I guarantee you somebody is saying like, what can we do? How could I get to the next level?